actually did tag myself, ICT Authority, and Capabuil after the phishing assessment that we did. And for those who are unable to join us yesterday, please feel free to reach out to Capabuil and ICT Authority. I will be sharing the notes specifically with Capabuil, and they will make the notes, the slides available to each and every one of you. Day 2 of 3, like I said yesterday, today's session will be mostly informative. We do not have a practical per se as we did yesterday. So today's session will be mostly informative, meaning we will not take as much time as we did yesterday. Yesterday, the discussions were very lively and enticing. We ended up going way past the hour, but it is fine. We are all here to learn and engage each other. Like someone has said, if there are any professionals in the building, please feel free to speak up. We are all here to learn and grow together. Today's session will be focusing mostly on AI and IoT in the perspective of the cyber threats that face artificial intelligence and IoT devices. Like I said, this will be mostly informative. I was unable to come up with um, a good enough practical that would enable us, especially for IoT. I would have loved to get my hands on some IoT devices and perform some IoT hacking, but at the moment I was unable to. Maybe in future, should there be another opportunity, most definitely we will look at performing practicals that we don't just read stories about what's happening in the outside world, but actually see how it's done. But to cover up for today's session, tomorrow's session will be fully practical, like I said yesterday. Practical in the sense that we will be seeing all that we talked about yesterday in terms of phishing and social engineering, see it in a practical manner. So come ready tomorrow for a very hands-on and practical session. I don't know, someone, shall we give people a bit more time to join in, or do I just start?
I think we can get started. I think we are 150 and counting, which is more than enough quorum to get started. Of course, we are also live on YouTube, so those joining late will get the 2 links later where they can catch up in case they miss anything. But 150 is more than enough quorum for virtual sessions, so we can proceed, Nigel.
Okay, perfect. Just give me 1 minute to set up and you can get started.
No problem, no problem.
Okay, as I set up, maybe just in the chat, kindly just drop a quick text, 1 or 2 keywords or things that you picked up from yesterday's presentation. This will enable us to at least gauge and see whether or not we're making progress and whether or not we are able to identify what exactly we were talking about. So in the chat, just quickly drop 1 or 2 words that you picked up from yesterday's session as we do a recap. And before I even proceed further, there's a link I want to start by sharing. This is after yesterday's discussion. For those of us who are there in the evening, I was able to come across this article immediately after our discussion. Yeah, I'm seeing someone saying anything online is hackable. Thank you for that, Joel. Newton, social engineering. Asante sana. Got to know special engineering in detail. I think you meant social engineering Eustace, but thank you for that. Phishing. Mentioned that not all threats are harmful and not all vulnerabilities are exploitable. We'd like more elaboration on that. Thank you. So, Marcy, your question is, I mentioned that not all threats are harmful and not all vulnerabilities are exploitable. Take it in the sense that whatever is affecting people out there, if there is an IoT hack going on, like we will see in today's session, just because there is a hack going on does not mean that you are specifically vulnerable. If the device that you're using is not for that specific version, or rather the attack is targeting maybe version 22.4 and they're using version 25 and above, the threat does not apply to you, but it is advisable to just stay on the lookout and always update your gadgets. Not all vulnerabilities are exploitable. Yes, take it in the sense that having a crack in the wall. I'll give a real life example. Having a small crack in the wall does not necessarily mean that um, thieves or robbers can use this crack to get into the house. Okay, so if you're having vulnerabilities, maybe you're just seeing there's maybe a missing header when you're conducting your vulnerability assessment on a website. You have a missing header. Just because there's a missing header does not mean that now you as a client are susceptible to attack XYZ, for instance. So I'm just giving general um, explanations. I hope that you are now up to par with that, Masilangat. Enoch, have I been pwned? Yes, thank you. I hope by the way everyone was able to look at the website that I shared. Just confirm whether your email is out there in a data breach or not, because we do not want for you to leave this webinar 3 days of a webinar and your email is somewhere floating in the dark web being used for malicious intent. Wishing privacy is dead. Thank you, Lorraine. I learned the importance of unique passwords and changing it time to time. Thank you. For those who are unable to join us again yesterday, we said if you're unable to keep remembering your passwords, there's a simple password generator that I shared with everyone yesterday. So if you're interested, I will share it again at the end of the call. Now, before I proceed to today's session, the link that I have posted there, for those of us who are here, you remember we had this discussion of how whether or not VPNs are safe to use and whether we should put our trust fully, 100% fully on them. I gave you a two-sided answer. I said yes and no. Yes, because in a sense they are um, protecting our network, but again, as you can see now for this is Fortinet. Uh, so let me just share this tab for those who are able to access it at the moment. So yeah, Fortinet SSL VPNs hit by global brute force with before attackers shift to FortiManager. So we see how VPNs are actually being used um, in attacks. And once you go through this article, you'll be able to see what I was talking about. That VPNs are not 100% foolproof. We should actually take more precaution. So take your time, read about that. Someone asked me on how to secure themselves when they're out in the field. This is one thing you should also look at. So on to today's session. I don't know, before I go on, I hope there's no one with a question. If you have a question, just type it in the Q&A. Someone will interrupt me at any time and I will be free to answer. Like I said, today's session is mostly informative. We will not be here for that long, but I'll try explain all points in a manner that will leave each and every one of you at least leaving here with one or two new gems. In case there is a network interruption, please inform me. I am currently hotspotting myself. Like I've been in darkness for a while. So in case I disappear, please type it in the chat. Someone will inform me. So let's get started. Like I said, my name is Nigel Pipion. A quick who am I for those who are not here? Security researcher, bias and red teaming operations, co-founder of SalamaSec Limited, and I will post a link to SalamaSec there. Like I said, toxic relationship with Man United. So for those of you who know how to switch teams, please tell me. You can also connect with me on socials on the links that I have provided. I will share them again towards the end of our session. So let's get started. Our agenda for today, we already covered common threats and vulnerabilities, basic cyber hygiene, best practices to secure data. Those we did yesterday. If you have a question, again, post it in the chat. Now, for today's session, I'm here to demystify AI and its impact in security, strategies to stay ahead of the curve, and then tomorrow we cover the last point, that is walkthrough social engineering, hoping everything goes well and we have a successful demo. So let's get started. So common threats and vulnerabilities. We first start with the basics. What is AI? We keep hearing this term AI, and all we are told by those who are in the field and those who are quote unquote more experienced is that AI will take your job. Okay, but what is AI in specific? So basic definition refers to the ability of machines and computer systems to perform tasks that require human intelligence. Now this is important to note because a computer on its own cannot perform any task whatsoever. So computers and any machines excuse me, computers and any machines are fully reliant on your input or on your feedback as a human being um, to be able to perform their tasks. Also, so these tasks include learning, reasoning, perception, and language understanding. Like I said, your computer cannot, in the middle of the night, start itself. Okay, it needs your human intervention to press the power button and get it started. Those are some of the tasks we're talking about here. So moving on, again, we're looking at the common threats and vulnerabilities. So core components of AI or artificial intelligence. One, machine learning. These are algorithms that learn from data to make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed. What we're talking about here is algorithms have been designed or have been created and are continuing to be created. And these algorithms in specific learn from the data that we give them. Okay, so we input data. We don't have to explicitly program this data, but all we do is feed it with specific data for it to learn and draw pattern, as we'll see. Natural language processing enables machines to understand, interpret, and respond to human language. This is chatbots and translation tools. So for those of you who've ever um, used any online tool to translate, maybe English to Spanish to German, whatnot, natural language processing comes into play here. So we enable machines to understand, interpret, and respond to human language. Now, what are we looking at? In the case of chatbots, whatever we are inputting is what we understand as humans, right? And what we understand is, for lack of a better word, quote unquote, garbage to the computer. Because how me and you relate, how me and you text, how me and you type is not understandable by the computer. But language processing enables human input um, to be converted into machine language that is understandable by the machine, and then um, we get feedback from the machines in a language that we understand. That's the whole point of NLP. Computer vision, AI systems that interpret, process visual data from the world. Facial recognition is the best example that I can give for this. Lastly, generative AI. These are models that can create content such as text, images, or audio. Before I proceed, um, anyone here who is currently working in the machine learning field or AI, and just tell us how, at the moment, uh, from the terminologies that I have shared, what exactly are you working with and your experience so far in terms of progressiveness in the field. You can just type it in the chat. So as you're typing, I'm seeing someone Kimani ask, can we place agentic AI here? Yes, I think we can, because at the end of the day, agentic AI basically is referring to a class of AI that focuses on what's it called? Autonomous systems, and these systems make decisions and perform tasks without human intervention. So yes, we can. I hope that answers your question. Um, my question was, who here has interacted with any of the forms of AI that I've listed? Machine learning, NLP, agentic AI, someone has said. So you used generative AI, researching on emerging technologies, AI, blockchain, etc., in application to digital government services. For those of you who have said they have used it, um, interpret and process visual data. Okay, thank you for that. For those who have used it so far, what is your experience? Just to demystify what we are hearing in the news, is AI coming to take our jobs, or are we the ones who are just too fearful and should what's it called, relax on the tensions around AI? Simon, I don't know. Is it possible to maybe unmute one or two people? Should they raise their hands?
Yeah, of course. We can unmute anyone who is ready to share. You can raise your hand. Just monitoring. I can see Oyo Jerry. Yes, Jerry, you can proceed. I've allowed you to share.
Thank you for this time. I think AI might not take us out the job market unless we are just fearful, because they only make our work easier. I would give, for instance, someone in networking or who is learning something to do with networking. At a point, you have to be on ground and fix things manually using your hand. If you are in programming, let's say you're programming a website, you have to know exactly what you are doing, connecting both front end to back end. I mean, being a full stack, that's something that AI cannot do. If you are in other tech fields, let's say you are a plumber, AI won't come and fix the T-junction for you in a toilet or in a sewer line. It can't do that, but it will teach you what you need to do, making your work very easier, so that when you get there, you have all the basics and all the knowledge at hand to go and practice. So that's always my take with AI. And this notion that AI will take our jobs away, nah, that doesn't, I can't buy it. I'm not buying it anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Oyo, Jerry. Maybe Nigel, can I also respond shortly on that?
Please do.
Thank you. I don't think AI, on matters maybe AI taking our jobs, I don't think AI is going to take our jobs. But what is going to happen is that those people who know how to use AI are actually the ones who are going to replace those who don't know how to use it. I think that's my addition to Oyo's discussion. Back to you, Nigel. I can see Robert and Hope have their hands up. So Nigel, if you want to listen to their opinions, let me know. I can.
Yes, please. They can go on.
All right. So we'll start with Robert. Then we'll have Hope.
Thank you, Nigel and team. My name is Robert Hope, and I'm from the chat. I want to be the spoiler, and just to say that AI will actually, if your job is in a repetitive mechanical task, then prepare for AI, because it will actually take over that job. Any job that is repetitive, that is mechanical, that doesn't require so much thinking, then AI will actually take up that job. You know that someone argued that those jobs like plumbing and technical jobs, yes, those ones might not be replaced, but any blue collar job that has a repetitive workflow process, then I think we should just prepare for it and try and advance our skills on how to use this new technology that is here with us. Thank you.
Very well. Let's listen to Hope, and then we'll take it back to Nigel. Yes, Hope.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, you're very audible, at least from my side, yeah.
Okay, thank you. For me, I think, yes, AI can come and take up our space and everything, only if one is not able to adapt and embrace it. Because most of us, or AI comes in mostly on the side of programming and development. For someone who cannot embrace it, they will have a hard time. And that's why we have people who say that it's coming to take up their jobs, but in reality, it's just coming to save us and help us like have smooth transitions and so ever. So yes, for someone who is not ready and resisting AI, because it's coming here to stay and there are more to come. So it's just a matter of embracing it, learning it, and using it to our advantage. But also it has its issues. So you just learn how and have your way around it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Nigel.
Thank you, Simon, and hope Robert and Jerry for your inputs. I have picked up one thing from all of you who have spoken. You are not buying into the quote unquote fear that AI is here to replace our jobs, which is good. But then I'll throw something else, rather a statement that I saw. I can't recall where exactly I saw it, but it was something in the lines of whatever you think is coming to take over, whatever you think is coming um, to change the world, ideally is just Silicon Valley's idea of looking at a product and saying this is the next big thing and funding it until it becomes so. Let me give an example. If Silicon Valley looks at Capabuil and says, you know what, these guys are it, we are going to use Capabuil to take over East Africa in terms of training and offering services, and pump money into it to a point where Capabuil is actually acceptable to everyone because it is everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's posts about Capabuil, so on and so forth. Same thing you've been seeing with ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and the rest. They just pump money into it until it is now the new norm and everyone embraces it. So, do you think that from that explanation that I've given, do you think that this AI is still here to stay and take your jobs for those who said, yeah, we should embrace it, otherwise it's going to take over? Yeah, and again, Jerry has given quite an interesting example. If you are doing plumbing, for instance, then AI is not coming to do that T junction. But we have seen the evolution of robotics where robots actually perform basic services. Here in Nairobi, for example, we have a hotel where most of the waiters and waitresses, I don't know if they are female robots, but waiters are actually robots. So do you think that even those service industry jobs are at risk or not? Food for thought. We can discuss that as you move on. I'm seeing Nicholas asking what is your take on the application of AI in cybersecurity, detecting threats and recommending possible solutions. We're actually getting to that, Nicholas, but I do think it is a wonderful idea. But I'll get to that in a few. So back to the slides we go. Um, so common threats and vulnerabilities. We're still looking at workability. How do these AI models actually work? Okay, like I said, it does not work without your input as a human. You put into ChatGPT or DeepSeek, that image that you feed into, what was the name of this application that was turning people into cartoons? It was all over. Someone just type in the chat for me. People into cartoon form, and people are using it to quote unquote soft launch their better halves. I'm seeing Abednego saying AI haiwezi vuta cable, so network guys tuko sawa. For international listeners, he's basically saying AI cannot do all the cable pulling that is done by networking engineers, so networking engineers are safe. We'll see about that, Abednego. Thank you, Banu. Yeah, Ghibli. Ghibli is the name I was looking for. So without this input from you as an individual, do you think this AI model is actually able to function? My thought is no, it does not. Because ideally your data collection or rather data collected from your input, my input, and the input of 7 billion other people around the globe is what powers this AI. Training. Upon collection, the models algorithms process the data to recognize trends and relationships. Now, this is very important. Trends and relationships. The AI model is not, how do I put it? is not a shopping trolley. See the way when you're in the supermarket and you have a shopping trolley, if you push it left, it goes left. You push it right, AI will take whatever you put into. Think of if I put in item 1, item 2, item 3 on Monday. Wednesday, I come back, put in the same items, or put in slightly different items, but with the same ones that were from Monday. And on Friday, I combine items from Monday and Wednesday and add more. AI goes learning and looking at trends and seeing, okay, every Monday, Simon likes to go to the supermarket, shop for bacon, shop for bread. On Wednesday, he likes to shop for oranges. On Friday, he likes to shop for water. These are the trends that we are talking about. So, for instance, if you're training a model, let me try and get a realistic example. Well, one of the examples that we'll look at later on. If I'm training a model to conduct phishing scams, for instance, this model will see that, okay, one, my English has to be perfect. If my target is a Taiwanese speaker, then my Taiwanese has to be perfect. So I feed this AI model with all the Taiwanese lingo that is there. Then from there, train it on how to actually articulate itself in proper Taiwanese in a manner that is convincing to the recipient of this phishing attack. So we'll look at some of the examples later on. Decision making. Trained model predicts outcomes or takes actions. This is another important step. This AI model is not just taking in info for the sake of taking in info. It's being taught how to actually take in the info and predict possible outcomes. So probability, we are normally told it's usually 0 or 1, right? So there are so many outcomes that can come in between this 0 and 1. So if a real life example that I can give, I don't know how many of you here just by a reaction. I don't know if reactions are available here on Zoom, but anyway, those of you who are familiar with chess and have been able to play chess online, you actually see that the computer slowly by and surely starts learning your moves. It learns that you like to do certain moves when you are cornered, blah blah blah. I don't know the correct terminologies for chess. I am not proficient. So if there's anyone who's proficient here, please feel free to reach out and teach me. I'm more than willing to learn. I see Abenego saying, sure, it learns your moves. Yes. So with time, this computer learns your moves, right? In the long run, what does it do? Trains itself and says, okay, Abednego is a very tough opponent. Let me see how I can try and beat him. So. And one example that I can give um, in relation to this, just to take us back. Don't know how many of us have heard of the Turing test. Just feel free to raise your hand or and unmute yourself. Just give us a brief description of what you know about the Turing test. As we get someone to give us an answer, there's a question that is asking, is AI a threat to National Intelligence Service job? That's a very good question, Daniel. I do not think so. Why don't I think so? I'm assuming you're asking from a local context, NIS, the one that you have in the country. Ideally, AI will actually supplement it in a manner that will ease their job. And that's why someone mentioned if you do not embrace it, then you are going to be left behind. So no, I don't think it's a threat. It's actually a very good and huge bonus because now if you look at, I'm pretty sure we've seen movies where people's patterns, walking patterns are monitored. So someone walks a certain style, maybe has a limp on the left leg, so on and so forth. The National Intelligence Service can use such information when they are maybe spying on people and trying to get information on people. A good example of this is one example has been trending for quite a while now, allegedly by the NSA group. So this spyware ideally learns your patterns, learns how you communicate, learns how you do things, and then on taking over, or rather when it's time to attack, sends you um, sends you a text that is crafted as per your needs. So, for instance, like Jerry gave an example of plumbing. I know Jerry owns a plumbing hardware. So this spyware sends back information to whoever the attacker is, learns that Jerry usually orders pipes every week at this time from this place, blah, blah, blah. This helps them craft their payload in a manner that will entice Jerry to click on the link. So I hope that answers you, Daniel. The question that I asked Azan is, has anyone heard of the Turing test? Turing test. If so, just unmute yourself. Tell us what you know about. Anyone who's heard of the Turing test? Let me just type it here in the chat. I have shared it in the chat. Turing test. Anyone? Okay. If you've done computer science and you don't remember this, maybe let me just try and give a bit more meaning. The Turing test was a proposal made by Turing as a scientist way back. It was a way of dealing with the question whether machines. Yes. I'm seeing Hope Nyamburu's hand is up. Just go on, Hope.
So for me, vile tuliambiwa, it's like kulikuwa na mse alikuwa na tests if a machine can has unique features, like instead nika ku differentiate how a human behaves and how the machine was behaving, if it makes sense.
Sorry, please repeat that again. I didn't get you.
Like it was the test, how you were told, it was a test done on machine, like differentiating on how it's behaving and how humans behave. Like looking for like those features.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Hope. Anyone else with a different explanation to the Turing test? Okay. For the interest of time, I think I will take Hope's answer and build upon it. Now, what we are looking at with the Turing test is machines, can they think on their own? And I'll leave you to go research on it a bit more. So the test actually put man and machine against each other, set of questions, then detect whether these answers are from a fellow man or a fellow computer, so on and so forth. I'll let you have uh, a look at it later on when you're free. I have typed it in the chat, so for those who are not aware, you can just look at it. So back to what I was saying. Where was I? Decision making. Yes, the model predicts outcomes or takes actions. Now, like I said, with the spyware that is currently trending, what exactly is happening is one, the machine starts learning your patterns. If you're using AI for spyware, that is one. Two, same way that you decide to maybe time a thief. Maybe someone has been stealing your chicken, and you've noticed that they are actually declining. So what do? You do not just wake up and say, I'm going to catch a thief today. No. What do? You start collecting the data from the first step that you're seeing on your screen. Collect the data. How many chickens have gone so far? How many are remaining? When were they stolen, or when did you notice they were gone? Start training yourself or yourself to look at the schedule in which these chickens are being stolen. Then make a decision. Predict the outcome. If they have been your chicken have been getting lost on a Monday, try look at it and see these are the days of the week are we getting stolen from as a farm. So this is the decision making that we're talking about. So in our case, in the cybersecurity context, this model will now look at uh, player A, for example. If you're using chess, player A usually likes to make a checkmate move using ABC steps. So now, as a computer, the computer now decides, okay, to stop this, how about I play move 1, 2, 3? So finally, feedback loop. AI adjusts its decision making over time through new data. Now, with time, AI is like, okay, from the data that I got last week and what I'm getting now, this is what I think we should do. And it's not broadcasting its decision. No, it's just internal communications and saying, I think to beat this person in chess, we should do move 1, 2, 3 to help us win this game. So I hope you are together up to there. Can you just give me a quick minute? I'll be back. Just 1 minute. Sorry for the interruptions. Apologies for that. I had to take a quick water break, but I hope we're together up to there. I'm opening the session for questions. Like I said, this session is mostly informative and discussions. Our practicals will come in next week. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask them at this point before I continue. Okay, I believe there are none, so
Yes,
I will.
There's someone with a question. Someone's hand is up.
Okay.
Jangra.
Go on.
Yes, Jangra.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, since the AI uses feedback loops, is it possible to trick it? Because like I've learned some math, and according to probability, in a feedback loop, you can get stuck, and then you can't account for some other dependable actions. So let's say maybe in chess, I like to checkmate in that way, but that depended on some other move in the start. So if the AI doesn't take that into account, that means it will be inaccurate. And if I make a different move at the start, it will still be thinking that I'd want to checkmate that way, but I go for another way.
Yes, you are totally correct. So we can try and trick these AI models, and that's why, like I said, someone asked in the context of cybersecurity, does AI actually help maybe in a SOC environment and so on and so forth? So you can decide to do that, but again, keep in mind everything that you're doing, every move that you're making is actually being monitored and studied and will evolve to help the AI model. So you might beat it this time with move 1 and maybe do it like 1 or 2 times more before it picks up the learning pattern. But after that, with the learning models that we are seeing, with especially the new AI models that are coming out, it is only a matter of time before you are, I don't want to use cunning ways, or rather your trickery, quote unquote, is picked up by the model and added to its learning portfolio, learning database, and help it evolve and make better decisions. I don't know if that answers your question, Banu.
Yeah, so I just wanted to confirm that means like your AI models will be using Markov chains to like account for dependable actions. But
Sorry, repeat the last part. We'll be using what?
Markov chains, like it's used to get probabilities based on dependable actions. Like
I am not quite sure of the term that you have used. I may have to do some research on that area and get back to you. Maybe
okay,
do so tomorrow. If you don't mind, just type it in the chat, then I'll do my research and come back with feedback tomorrow.
Okay, and maybe if someone in the audience who can have a different view on that and can help Jangra, anyone who can give Jangra clarification on his concern, you can raise your hand, then you can give you a minute before we let Nigel proceed. Okay, silence means no one is able to help clarify for Jangra. Okay, Nigel, I think you can proceed. I see someone whose hand is up. Melabon. Maybe Melabon, you want to help Jangra on the same, then we can have Nigel proceed. Let me raise your hand again, Melabon. I want to allow you to speak. Please raise your hand again. Okay. Let me look for the name again. Okay, I've enabled you to speak. You can unmute, then you can share with us.
Hello, I have a question to ask.
Oh, it's a question. I thought you were helping clarify Jangra's concern. Okay, just proceed.
I have my own question, but it's not about this question. How can you know that someone has hacked your computer or your phone?
Very good question. I know many people in the audience will also want to hear an answer to that question. So Nigel, if you can unmute and take help us take care of that.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Now back before I'll just mute yourself, whoever it is. Melabon. Thank you. Jangra, I think I'll have to do some research on whatever you've asked and then come back with possible feedback tomorrow. The question that was asked is, yes, Jerry, I see your hand is up. Do you want to give your take on that before I do?
Okay,
yes, Jerry,
thank you.
You can talk. Okay.
I've had the question that how can you know if your phone or your computer is hacked? Is that the question that you're saying you're going to research on?
No. That was a different question. That question I was actually going to answer. So if you have a possible answer to it, you can do, then give me input.
I thought it was that I would have taken it, but I think you can handle that. Thank you.
Okay. So Melabon, I think your basic question is how to detect that you are actually under attack. This falls under incident response and how to actually respond to attacks. I don't know if you're asking this from a personal perspective where you think have been attacked. I hope that is not the case. Or you're just trying to stay ahead of the curve. Basic things that you look at. For those of us who are using Windows OS, you turn your computer on and the first thing that you keep seeing are command prompts that pop up. Or maybe you're just using a laptop and you see command prompts popping up, and the command prompt is actually what's it called? You can actually see commands being typed into the command prompt. Another thing is seeing the notepad being opened and something is being typed within the notepad. Now these are advanced or sophisticated means, mostly targeted towards high-level individuals. When I say high level, I do not mean necessarily someone completely wealthy. Maybe someone like a journalist, for instance. And I'll share a YouTube link here that can help you check on that. So you keep receiving these command prompt pop-ups on your laptop as you're using them. That can be a sign. I'm not saying it's necessarily an indication, but it can be a sign that your machine may be compromised. Another thing, the most basic way you can check, just go to Task Manager. So once you open Task Manager, what you're looking for is tasks that are running and consuming a lot of CPU and battery. What you're looking at is you're looking at a process that is not familiar to you. So processes that are running and are not, invoked by you. Like I said in the start, your computer does whatever you tell it to do. If I switch off my laptop at this very moment, it will switch off. Haitaniambia hapana, sitaki kuzima sahi, right? It's the same thing that will happen to your computer. So if you're seeing processes that you have not invoked, of course there are those background processes that have to run to ensure efficient running of um, your your machine. Sasa. So be on the lookout for which processes are running that are for the benefit of your machine, and those which are running and are not familiar to you. If it is a case of your phone, this is a bit tricky. It is not an area I fully explored, but one thing I know is maybe I'm making a call to Simon, and every time I'm making a call to him, I can hear some background noises, but Simon tells me he's in the house, he's quiet. So these noises sound like something is being scratched or a piece of paper is being wrinkled. Such noises can be an indication that maybe there's something wrong. It can just be a phone that is having issues, but it can be an indication that maybe you have been compromised. Again, check the battery drainage. Mostly when people are performing these attacks, if I'm to perform an attack on maybe Jerry, for instance, and I send a malicious payload to his device, or I want to do, I send a rootkit to him. Mostly what happens is this this is an external program that is new to this machine. Okay, ideally more often than not you'll find that your battery is being drained quicker than normal. So if maybe Jerry just uses his laptop to write Word documents, send emails, and attend meetings, and his laptop on full charge lasts him a whole day, you'll start noticing that if you turn on your laptop at 8, by 10 it is drained. Why? Because this maybe whether it's a Trojan, a rootkit, or whatever kind of attack that I'm using on him is actually consuming more power and more resources. That's why I said check your task manager. Ian Muti is saying my laptop runs CMD every time I start it. For Windows, this is common. That's why I said, as you're using CMD and then you see it pop up, like in the middle of the day, random pop-ups and multiple of them, and you're actually seeing something being typed, then that can be a cause of alarm. But on start, I don't think is something that should scare you, because I have seen it myself happen on normal Windows machines. So I hope that answers your question, Melabon. And again, look at it this way. Why should you be the victim of attack? It's either there's a massive DDoS campaign that is going on and you just fell victim, not that you are the target per se, but you just fell victim, or you are actually, if you are actually in the front line, human rights activists, journalists fighting for human rights, so on and so forth, then you should be concerned when you start seeing such signs, because ideally attackers normally have a set goal in mind. I do not wake up in the middle of the night and say, you know what, let me attack Simon today. He has not done anything to me. I don't think there's anything valuable from him that I can get apart from his data. So why should I just go out and attack? So ask yourself that question. Um, can I be considered the center of attack? And again, like I said, you might not be the center of attack, but you can be the medium to which an attack is being performed. Your laptop can be just formed into a botnet, or rather joined into a botnet to help get to the potential target. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'll assume silence means yes. I'm seeing Sadia Isak saying modern AI uses deep learning, not Markov chain for dependability. Allow me not to comment on that. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the whole term Markov chain, so we'll look at it later. So back to our slides. So yeah, we've looked at this, the process, the workability around AI. So real life applications, where are we using AI, or is it just a fancy term to keep us in check? One, fraud detection in banking, detect unusual transactions. So when we are talking about unusual transactions, I'll give an example of a normal user like me and you. assuming you do not run your own company, you normally maybe once your salary comes in, 100K has been deposited by Capabuil, for instance. Um, Simon as a user, I'm just using him as a relevant example. So if Simon is usually deposited his salary on the 28th of every month, for instance, and now we are seeing aside from the normal 100,000 that he normally gets from his employer, there's a million shillings that accompanies his salary every month. Sawa? Or on a weekly basis, there's a 250K deposit that is being made. And when Simon was opening this business, he said he's employed, not self-employed. Ideally, this can be flagged, not the use of the word can. If you're transacting extremely huge amounts in a very short span of time, you're trying to withdraw to 50K every hour for the entire day. This is an unusual transaction. Okay. Again, this transaction actually span up. Let me just share a link here. Just a minute. Let me share this link. So I was trying to retrieve a link. The link that I'm sharing is for YouTube, Darknet Diaries. So this is Darknet Diaries. Go listen to it. It will give you a context of unusual transactions that I'm talking about that are actually flagged. So this episode in specific talks about the Beirut bank job. For those of us who've not heard about it, there was an attack that actually left a Beirut bank on its knees. Like the amount of money that was transacted um, during that transaction is insane. And how it happened is these guys actually I'm trying to get the exact amount. Okay, I can't get the exact amount, but just go listen to the episode. It is a very interesting episode. These guys were able to time when it was, and I hope I'm referencing the correct one because there were two bank jobs that were enormous. So the attackers were able to time when I think it was a holiday in the States and it was New Year celebrations in Beirut. So what happens is there is usually a system like let me use the term middleman. I'm forgetting the correct terminologies, but you'll get them in the episode. So this system usually approves, especially large bank transfers. So if I'm doing bank to bank transfer, there's a system, I forget its name. Apologies for that. That usually approves this kind of transactions. So these guys were able to notice that on date 4 there is going to be there's going to be a holiday in the States, for instance, and on the same weekend, maybe 4th is a Friday, on the same weekend uh, Beirut is having a holiday. So what do these guys do? They initiate the transaction in Beirut time. The transaction gets to American time when these guys have already gone home on a Saturday. So now there's no one to approve. These guys, I don't know, I can't remember exactly how they did it, but they got the approval. By the time Monday is coming in, the guys in the States are calling Beirut and asking them, where did 200 million go? Where did you transact 200 million? So on and so forth. So you can listen to the episode. It was a very interesting one to show how um, um, banking fraud can actually happen. But now with the use of AI, we can be able to get um, what's it called? Stop fraudulent transactions. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. Apologies for that. So, like I was saying, just look at that episode, and then now AI has come in to actually help detect such huge fraudulent transactions. Another real life application of AI, self-driving cars, real-time decision making. Don't know how many of us have been able to actually use a Tesla. Anyone here who can tell us about the experience? Kama we are all backbenchers in S classes. Anyone here who's been able to use a Tesla? Okay, I assume the silence means no. Ideally, Tesla is one of the first pioneers in self-driving cars. Currently, very effective. I don't know if I should use the term very effective, but effective in the United States and other European countries. I don't know what the success rate is at the moment. Anyone who's been able to use them can inform us. But now we are going to a period in time where uh, you do not need to drive those long drives where you feel like um, I don't need to drive for 10 hours. So self-driving cars come into play. How they work basically, the cars themselves have the geolocation from start to finish of where you want to go. So if I say I'm driving from Nairobi to Kisumu, the road is already mapped out on Google Maps. The car uses maps. I'm assuming they use Google Maps. I don't know which other form of maps they may be using. So the car uses maps, plots out the route that it will take. Um, and it now delivers or rather gets you to your destination. I'm seeing someone saying the uncle bought a Tesla and it delivered itself from Texas to Seattle. I think I'd be freaked out if I'm in traffic and I'm seeing a car moving on its own. Don't know if I'm ready for that kind of reality because that's where it's heading to. Thank you, Eustace, for that sharing that example. So yeah, if I don't know how many of you just share in the chat, how many of you would be open to actually getting into a cab. Say you're going to Kisumu, you want to do a road trip to Mombasa, and it's a self-driving car. How many of us here would be safe doing it? I'm giving the Kenyan context. Achana na Europe or US where the roads are clearly mapped out. Here in Kenya, how many of you would be open to actually doing that? I'm seeing Lamek saying so, Sharon Nyoike. Anyone else? Azan Baraka. Okay. I think you guys don't have trust issues like myself because I don't think save the diesels. Thank you so much, Winston. I support you fully on that. Save the diesel cars, manual diesels. Guys are saying no. Someone saying Z. Nelly says she can't dare. Others saying they can. I don't think I'd be. My trust issues are going to allow me to get into a car that I know is self-driving all the way. Keep in mind, someone has said Mombasa Road trailers. Keep in mind how bad our roads are. So it is a blessing and quote unquote a curse to us because at the moment our roads are not yet up to par to allow, or rather, the road users are not um, well educated to allow such to happen. So if you're a driver, ask yourself, am I driving in a manner that helps um, you know, boost the use of AI and self-driving cars in the future? Or am I zigzag driving on the expressway just because it's midnight and there's no one? So I'm seeing there's a question on the Q&A section. Is AI making researchers and students lazy? Does AI rely on past or future data? Is AI making researchers and students lazy? This is a very good question. I came across a meme, I think yesterday, that said, I'll brag to my kids that yes, please don't quote me on this, but this is quote unquote. I cheated during my exams. That is true, but I did it the hard way. Carrying the Kenya, carrying that piece of paper in. You are cheating now with AI. So in a way, I think it's making students lazy. You are mostly reliant on AI. This is especially those who are new to the whole concept and have no idea of how to actually use it. Like someone said, you have to embrace it. It does not have to become the norm in our lives. Maybe I'm stuck somewhere and I'm not finding any way forward. AI can come in and give a different thinking, a different perspective. So is it making researchers and students lazy? I think it's dependent on the individual himself or herself, how they are actually using the AI. Another question is, how can we rate the accuracy of AI applications? real life experience. Kingsley tested ChatGPT with a simple mathematical calculation, and it gave me wrong answers 3 times. It was a simple addition. Kingsley, do you mind sharing the prompt that you shared so that I can even try it on my end? So as Kingsley is sharing that prompt, I think back to my questionnaire, stop driving cars. So most of you are turning it down, and I thank you for that. But at the same time, look to embrace technology because it's here and it's here to stay. Whether you use it or not, your kids and your grandkids are definitely going to be walking around without driving licenses simply because there's a Tesla that can drive them safely from Nairobi to Mombasa and back. So time to embrace it. Who knows? Healthcare diagnostics, analyzing scans for early disease detection. I have seen, for those of you who are coming from Rongai, I don't know if you've seen at Bomas roundabout, there is this billboard by Nairobi Hospital that says they actually use AI to help um, detect diseases before, or rather detect symptoms beforehand. Are there any doctors in the building who can share how they're using AI to do this? Because I have not interacted with AI in the health industry. Any doctors? No? Okay, I'll assume there are no doctors. So I think if there are any doctors, please feel free to share with us how are you using AI to actually help you detect? Is it that um, you're feeding these models with potential symptoms, or how does that go? But I'll assume that is the case. Moving on, customer support chatbots, 24/7 assistance. I don't know how many of you have actually interacted with the chatbot and not gotten proper feedback. There are some sites that are actually um, trying to adopt AI, and the chatbots are still under development. But there are sites that I have visited that the chatbots are actually very, very good at helping you. So I think I can give an example of the Microsoft page. When you are setting up, what's it called? Sorry, Google GCP. When you're setting up a virtual server on GCP, they have that virtual chatbot that they use. Even on Microsoft, when you're setting up with Azure, they have that the Gemini AI. It is there to help you, and if you provide it with the correct prompt, it gives you proper feedback. Now, keynote here is the correct prompt. Remember, we said AI does not have a brain on its own. It's dependent on what you and me have fed it as the developers. So it only knows yes or no, true or false. So if I'm looking for a document on how to set up a Linux server, and I say, send me a document to set up a Kali Windows server, you see that is something that is not familiar to it. It will automatically tell you, we do not have that in our database, but here are links on how to set up a Windows server, a Kali server, and so on and so forth. I'm looking at the questions. So I don't see any question at the moment that I can answer, but in case of anything, feel free to raise your hand. Someone will bring the attention to me. Perfect. We have gotten to the part where AI is used for attacks. So AI related attacks, deepfake voice cam. I think we have all seen AI being used as deepfakes. So back in 2019, an unnamed UK-based energy firm fell victim to deepfake news in financial fraud. So what happened basically is the CEO received a call impersonating the German parent company CEO. So this oil firm that is in the UK, the parent company is in Germany. The energy firm in UK, the CEO to the energy firm in UK received a call impersonating the parent company. Now you might be wondering, but I know Simon's voice. Now I'll share a link that will you can actually look at this deepfakes. They are becoming increasingly good. Like someone can call you and you won't tell whether it's Simon who's speaking or it's someone it's a deep fake. So I'm sharing the links in a bit. The other related attack is phishing attacks against US government officials. This actually happened this year. So sorry for that typing error, but the attack targeted top officials like Marco Rubio via Signal. So far they have been successful. Let me just share this link so that you can um, have a look. Just a minute. So these are deep fake examples that I'm sharing. I think this link provides about 7 instances where deepfakes have been used. So deepfake is just as the name sounds. I am faking whatever it is I want to achieve. So if I want to achieve Jerry's voice, I'll fake using his voice. So you can read more about it on the links that I am providing. The other link is the phishing link. Just a minute. So the phishing link, like I said, is actually very recent. This is this year, sometime this year, and Trump and the FBI had to actually call a meeting and train, these top officials. Look, the president does not sound like this. He does not say. So, for instance, maybe it is a CEO, and in the video or the voice, you can hear him say, "So today I want us to, I want us to do 1, 2, 3 things. Si tuko pamoja." That Swahili bit of Swahili should be enough to trigger you and tell you, this person is not who he claims to be. Maybe because your CEO never speaks Swahili. Maybe he doesn't even know Swahili. So why should you be listening to the deepfake? Like I said, today's session is mostly informational. So up until there, I'm leaving the floor open to what's it called? Any questions or concerns or anyone that might have in the session. I see Hope's hand is up. Yes, Hope, go on.
So I have a question about QR codes. I'm seeing someone also has the same question. Like, a QR code safe?
Are you tracking from a general perspective or?
Yeah, just from a general, because most of the times nowadays it's about QR codes at the supermarket. So are they safe for us to use? Or there is a way hapo katikati mambo inaweza rambana?
So I will actually tell you of an instance that I had tried to perform. Please note this was I had permission to do this type of attack. QR codes can actually contain malicious links. So back in 2020, menus were removed from your favorite dining cafes. You go to Java, whichever place, CJs, so on and so forth. So guys are being told to scan the QR code, order, and you get it, right? I actually tried to insert a malicious link, and people actually clicked on it. So what happens is another real life example that I have seen. I'll try to look for that YouTube video and share it. This was in America. So this guy, what he did was went printing out different um, what's it called, QR codes. Yes, Nelly, I have stopped sharing. I will share in a bit. So this guy went printing different uh, QR codes and then posting them on random places. So what happens with a QR code? You just after printing it, people can scan it and access the site that you're trying to share. So what normally people do is, instead of directing it to maybe facebook.com, what do? I direct it to a setup of Facebook that I have set up on maybe on my own server. It looks like Facebook, but it's not Facebook. Why am I doing this? You will try login into Facebook, input your credentials. To you as the end user, you as Hope, you know that this is Facebook. So maybe you've been told there is a competition going on Facebook. Scan this QR code haraka haraka. If you don't have an account, open an account here and now. If you do have an account, just log in and then participate. So you as Hope, you'll be like, maybe there's a free car to be won. Let me scan this QR code and get it to Facebook haraka haraka because I don't have an account. Once you scan it, you create your account. What do? You create a new username and password. On my end as the attacker, since I am hosting this Facebook site, this fake Facebook site on my server, I can actually see you inputting your username and password. And hopefully tomorrow we shall be able to see this attack happen in person. So let's pray that the demo gods are on our side. I'll actually be doing this, but not using a QR code, but you'll get to see how it happens. So to answer your question, if it's a random QR code that you are not aware of, please refrain from scanning it. Sawa. And again, remember, like I said yesterday, be on the lookout. This QR code that you're about to scan, if it's supposed to take you to Facebook, why is it redirecting you to um, uh, another site? Maybe why is it redirecting you to capabuil.com, then to Facebook? You know, those are questions you should be asking yourself. I hope that answers you, Hope.
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, any other question from the audience? Any other question? Okay, I'll assume silence means no. So moving on. So yeah, like I said, the links that I have shared, you can be able to just look at them uh, and get an understanding of these attacks. Phishing. Hong Kong, as a country, recently fell victim to AI-driven scams, cost them a whopping 25 million. So in this attack, AI was used to create digital replicas of senior executives in a video conference. Attack began with a phishing email, but was backed by the video conferencing, thus convincing the employee to transfer the amount. So remember, this AI is a medium to your attack. It is not necessarily the full-blown attack. Ideally, people have used this to perform the attacks fully, but you can also supplement AI with other forms. So, like you've seen in that Hong Kong instance, the targeted individuals were sent a phishing link. From the link that I'll share, you'll be able to see. So, a phishing email was sent first. This was not convincing enough. Now, to convince them, the attackers were smart enough to do what? Apply pressure. So, remember when sorry, think of the instances. Maybe you've been in town and you've gone those of us who've been to downtown Pale Firehouse behind Nation Building, there are these people who usually play these tricks and they tell you put 50 bob, you get 100 bob, blah blah blah, like some quote unquote magic tricks, right? Now they keep on applying pressure and they're like, hi, you see you won 100 bob, if you put 200 bob to try and see if you can win 300. This pressure is what, in that particular spur of moment, gets most people with their guards down. Why? At this moment, you're thinking, oh, with 50 bob, I've won 200. So what if I put 500? How much will I get? You know, simple math. So this kind of attack for Hong Kong specifically. Just a minute, let me share this link. This attack that happened in Hong Kong, this is exactly what happened. Individual was sent for a phishing email. You can read more about it on the link that I have provided. Individual was sent a phishing email. Then after the phishing email, the deepfake video followed up by a video conference. So the video conference, of course, is um, to put emphasis on this individual. In this case, it might have been the attackers of impersonating the CEOs of this company. So to put more pressure, what do? They tell this person, look, get onto this call. Haraka haraka will explain to you why we need 25 million US dollars. Sadly, this attack actually took place successfully, and the 25 million was transferred to the attackers' accounts. They were able to do some laundering here and there that helped them evade any capture. As far as I'm concerned, up until the time of this presentation, they are still not been captured. Again, smishing via AI prompts. Anyone who can remember what smishing was from our session yesterday? Nobody? Yeah, I'm seeing Enoch saying it also happened in Japan this year. So yeah, it has become a trend. So smishing is phishing via SMS. So, basically, that is smishing. So for smishing, what I was able to get at the moment is yeah, phishing text messages in form of SMS. With smishing, what you're looking at is think of how many times you've been told you can earn 50k, 30k to 50k easily daily while working at home. I'm pretty sure you've all gotten these messages. My To the Kenyan audience, once that text message comes in, there's usually a link. Now, I don't know how these people. I don't know if it is
Hey, Nigel, there is no audio. I think it is we're having a network issues from Nigel, so let's give him a minute to. Let's give him a minute. To the audience, sorry for the slight interruption. Despite us enjoying the benefits of technology and having to meet virtually, there are also limitations like this. Sometimes the internet fails us or power outages, but let's give Nigel a moment to get back online. Jerry, confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Let me check on Nigel.
sorry guys for that interruption. I am currently in darkness, so allow me to just speed up. I had lost my connection because of the lights. Apologies for that. So I hope I'm audible enough. Simon, you can just confirm.
Yes, you are now very audible.
Okay. Apologies for that interruption, guys. I'm really sorry for that. So now, like I was saying, I don't know if you guys have experienced this text. Yeah, when you are at your lowest financially, you get this text telling you, remote jobs paying you 70k per day. Now, in your desperation, quote unquote, at that particular time, you will rush to see, is this thing legitimate or not? And I saw someone actually ask on LinkedIn, if I get such a link on my phone, I can't hover over the link, right? I don't know if the lady is in the building. I can't remember her name, but she asked if I'm getting these links on my phone, how can I verify that this link is actually legitimate? Anyone who wants to share from my experience yesterday, anyone who wants to give an idea of how they can check if a link is legitimate on your phone before you even go to other means. Anyone who has an idea, just feel free to unmute and explain. Zakaria Kaemba says URL. What about the URL, Zakaria? I'm seeing Lynn saying checking if it has HTTPS or HTTP. Thank you, Lynn. This is exactly what I was looking for. This is one of the most basic ways you can check. So there's no site today that is secure that is running on HTTP. That is one of the most basic signs to check. So thank you, Lynn, for that. Banu, you're saying I think copy the link address and paste it into notes to check if it's actually legit. Do you mind unmuting and explaining how that works, please? Yeah, go ahead, Banu.
Yeah, so like let's say we have a post or something which has a button. So over there, obviously you can't clearly just check what link it is already there. So instead of going to the link first, then checking for the HTTPS and all and everything else, we can maybe like long press on that button. And then sometimes I often see that it shows copy link address or something like that. Then we can copy it and then paste it into notes or something, and then see the actual link.
I think that is one way, Banu, that you can do that. But now, what if it's a shortened URL? How do you go about it? Yeah, Jerry, go on.
Thank you. I think in a case where you have a shortened URL, you can use, there's only something called URL expander. Maybe you are using Bitly or Tenule. You can use URL expander to expand the URL so that you check if it has HTTPS, which is secure, because most of these hackers, they don't want to have secure platforms. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Jerry. Yes, that is one way. URL expander to see what exactly you're doing. But now, the danger with this is on your phone. I don't know. Ogla says I copy the link and ask that GPT if it's legit. I don't know if it is just myself, but also you guys suffer from this. I have, I don't want to say, I don't know if I should say clumsy fingers. I'll go to copy the link. You have to long press to copy it, but I'll find myself clicking it first. So what happens then? You know, because now this link, or rather this, if this link is malicious, it's designed that on click perform action XYZ. So what happens then? I'm seeing someone say I copy the link and ask ChatGPT if it's legit. I use ping to check URLs. Ian, which ping? Yeah, I'll resonate the question that Daniel is asking. Which ping are you talking about? Yes, Jerry, your hand is up.
Okay. Thank you. I think, again, in the case where if you're using a laptop, you can use both CAL and NS lookup to check on different networks that you are using, or the IPs or any other thing of that sort, so that you are sure. But in case you've clicked that link, most links are used for social engineering, so that there's an information that they want. If in very rare cases, unless things like Trojan, where you click on a link and it launches an immediate attack in your machine, some of the hackers require more of your details so that they can maim you into giving them something. So if maybe they are busy with your social media handle or they are busy with your machine, there are key things that they still need. And they always clone a specific social media handle of yours into their machine. Then they send you, then when you key in your passwords, they will attack you from that point. Thank you. So avoid keep keying in password to every link you find out. For instance, you know how you always access your Facebook account or your Instagram account. Then you find a link all of a sudden that tells you if you click it, you'll get a place where you can key in your details. So you just go about keying in your details. I think that's not the right way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for that. I'm trying to read the comment here by Daryl Kumba. Check the domain name of the URL, as some domains can use the name of the target domain as its subdomain. Example, youtube.com.tiny. I'm seeing what you're saying. Here, the actual domain that you will be visiting will be tiny.com, but they have used YouTube as its subdomain, taking people that it's actually YouTube. I noted it yesterday in the phishing test. Thank you so much for that, Daryl. So you see, for those who are here yesterday, the phishing test actually exposed this, and that's one of the things I was trying to look at. Are you looking at the domain itself and how it has been listed? Like we said, Coca-Cola has sent you a promotional message. Were you expecting it? No. Were you expecting it? Yes. But is the domain um, actually from Coca-Cola, or as Daryl has given an example, is it a subdomain that is actually imposing to be Coca-Cola? So I hope that answers the question. So back to this. If you have a question, feel free to interrupt. So yeah, the goal for smishing is for attackers to use SMS to send malicious links. I have shared the link in the chat for those who are interested in having a look. IoT. Now we come to the last part of our discussion today. Internet of Things refers to physical devices embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity that enable them to collect, exchange, and act on data via the internet without human intervention. Remember, we said um, these modern day technology is looking to operate without human intervention. So it collects data, or rather you input it, studies the pattern, and then acts as it is programmed. With IoT, what we're looking at is devices like your smartwatch. If you are in a home setup, some of you maybe have fish tanks. Your fish tank is connected maybe to the internet. These are some of the things you're looking at. Some of you even have smart fans, digital fans. If you go to countries like Dubai, UAE, they actually have ACs that are programmed. When it gets to a certain temperature, turn on the fan. Maybe it's a thermostat, for instance. What else? You can even have sprinklers, coffee machines, printers if you're in an office setup. I'm trying to get as many examples as possible that you can relate to. So these are some of the things that we are calling Internet of Things. These devices necessarily are not necessarily able to operate without human intervention, but once fed with data, they can now pick up their habits and continue with their operations. Our security world, IoT devices prove vital as they each can be a point of attack if not configured properly. Now, before I go on to the next slide, can someone just try and think of how can a printer be a point of attack? Printer or any IoT device, just think of a method that maybe from an attacker's perspective. Remember, we said we're raising awareness here. Part of raising awareness is to know how attackers can actually operate and then stop the attack. So I'm seeing Emmanuel seeing SMB, Anthony seeing USB. I hope everyone is familiar with the term SMB. As Emmanuel is sharing, if you're not, just state it. We will be happy to share. So yeah, the SMB is actually one method. I'm just monitoring the responses as they come in. Yeah, seeing someone using a tool called Shodan. Enoch, how would you use Shodan to perform your attack? Some printers use USB, making it easy for an attack. Correct, Ian. If you're able to get to the printer itself. Enoch, if you don't mind sharing, how will you use Shodan to get access to the target? Collins, I see you're saying using printer memory and access them wirelessly via Wi-Fi. How can you do that, Collins, if you don't mind sharing? Anthony Esebwe, please go on.
Anthony, you can unmute. Then we can have Cosmos. I think Anthony is not able to unmute. Cosmos, you can unmute. Cosmos bet. Okay, I'll assume maybe they raised their hands unknowingly. So Nigel, we can proceed.
Sorry, Simon, come again.
I'm assuming they raised their hands mistakenly. Maybe they're not aware they clicked on the raise hand feature. So we can proceed.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, let's just proceed. So someone has actually given the definition of SMB. Thank you for that, Daniel. So SMB is one way that you can actually use IoT devices like a printer to perform our attacks. Then what else are we looking at? So now maybe to the devices that can actually be attacked. Common threats and vulnerabilities in IoT. Default credentials. Most IoT users do not change the default factory set passwords. An example is the Mirai botnet in 2016 that affected over 600k devices. Before I get to that, every time you order something online, especially IoT devices, please take your time to change that password. That router that you have at home from Safaricom, how many of you have changed the password since it came in? That's one question. Most of you actually use default threads. It's what makes attacking, especially home Wi-Fi, so easy. I'm not saying Safaricom in specific, but attacking home Wi-Fi is so easy because your router's password is set to a default admin. And I told you I have actually witnessed someone perform an attack where he or she actually listed so many Wi-Fi's within the vicinity by simply, you know, uh, using default credentials. So once you get that IoT device, please take your time to change the password. So now let's go to just a minute. I want to share this link with you guys so that we can go through it together. So this is from Akamai Research. If you are a listener of Dr. Diaries, Akamai is one of the research companies. So I will, I don't know if you can view this. Just a minute. Yeah, so I want us to actually just go through this so that I can show you guys something. Someone asked how we can tell, if we are infected. So a brief summary. This is May 6, 2025. So you see, this is very recent. So let's jump to the IOC's indicators of compromise. SNOT rules for our network. So these are indicators of compromise for SNOT. For those of you who are not familiar, SNOT is a tool that helps with detection, especially used by SOC analysts. YARA rules for malware samples. So these are some of the things that security researchers actually look at. So if you go through this and you are unable to understand, please just do your research on how this took place. I do not want to go deep into detail So this particular attack was attributed to command injection vulnerabilities. You can read about this CVE so that you understand how the Mirai botnet actually um, took these CVEs. Just go look at these CVEs. I hope we are all familiar with the term CVEs and how these attackers use this botnet to get access. The next link I am sharing, I want to just paste the links here so that you can visit them. Just a minute. Sorry. So yeah, there we go. So the next form of attack we look at is IoT being used as a gateway attack vector. So the IoT device is not the target, but it is the attack vector. So for instance, casino breach via fish tank thermometer. So let me just share that. So you wonder why would someone actually have a thermometer in place. So this is casino, and then the last link is smart card reader. Smart card reader. So now for those of you who might be wondering why would the casinos yeah, Cosmos, your hand is up. Cosmos, go on. Okay, I'll assume that maybe your hand was mistakenly raised up. So why would a thermometer be used as an attack vector, or how would it be used? Think of it this way: a fish tank is ideally used to store mostly indigenous fish or fish that are um, hard to come by. Apologies for the background noise. So ideally with this, what we're looking at as an attack vector, this thermometer is sending back the temperature readings to maybe to the owner of the casino, telling them your fish tank has gotten to 100 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's time for you to perform an action like turn on the fan for the fish, for instance, right? So that's why this thermometer is actually there and actually connected to the internet. The thermometer that we're talking about here is not the old school one that we used to have put under our armpits to measure our temperatures at hospitals. It's a digital thermometer that is able to relay information back to the end user. So now these attackers in this case attacked this thermometer and were able to get, because the thermometer is connected to the casino's internet, they were able to move from there and proceed. Sorry, just 1 minute. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat as I come back. 1 minute. Apologies for that. So yeah, like I was saying, the attackers were able to compromise this thermometer and then from there move laterally across the network to the intended target. Remember, this thermometer is connected to the casino's internet, and that's how they were able to do so. So then lastly, we look at the smart card reader that we use in most of our offices. How many of you actually verify the source of this smart card? We say maybe if I'm buying it from Amazon, it's secure. The link that I have shared, the second link, this researcher was able to identify that most of these smart card readers are actually coming filled with malware from the source. So this is one threat that we need to look at whenever you're purchasing things online. Try and do some analysis. Whatever information is being relayed from your reader to the server that is handling your data, is it secure enough? And again, something like a coffee machine, if you have one, a printer. Maybe you're at home, you don't need it connected to the internet. Your sprinklers. More often than not, people even connect their sprinklers to the internet. Are these things secured enough? Okay. Why is for those of you who may be advanced a bit more and are able to use, there are these small, I think they're called a Roomba, if I'm not wrong. Let me just get the correct spelling. Roomba. Let me just get that. I can't. I don't seem to get it. But there's a Roomba. There's this cleaner that has been invented. I've been seeing a lot of ads. Yeah, here we go. Copy link. So some of the individuals who are maybe away from their homes a lot use this device that I've shared, this Roomba in specific, to have their homes cleaned. And to do this, maybe just send a signal, start cleaning, for instance, and the device is programmed to know where to clean and how to clean, right? So if such things do not apply to you, don't have everything of yours connected to the internet, especially if it is unsecured. I don't know if there are any questions up until that point. Like I said, today's session is mostly informative or informational. I was unable to have any practical setup because we will do a full practical session tomorrow. So up until that point, I don't know if there are any questions. I have come to the end of my presentation for now.
Thank you, Nigel. So it's time for any questions. We can allocate a maximum of 3 to 4 minutes of questions and discussions, and then we can close down the curtains on this particular session for tonight. Someone is complaining that the link is not working on the chat section. I don't know which link is that. Maybe Nigel, you can.
Yeah, which link are you talking about? Franklin and Nation? Is it the Roomba one? I can get another.
Yeah, I think it's the Roomba one.
Let me
Yes.
just try get another, but I can see someone responding and saying theirs is working. So here we go. Emmanuel, you can feel free to unmute yourselves and ask the questions that you have. Feel free to now unmute yourselves. I think the host will be able to give you the speaking rights. It's Q&A session now. As people are preparing to ask these questions, Simon, you mentioned that I am able to share the notes here via chat. How do I do that? Because I'm seeing people ask for the notes.
Just click on the chat icon, then you will see, instead of typing, you will make sure that you select that it goes to everyone, and then there is an icon that looks like an F4 besides an emoji. If you click on it, you will see, it will give you a file navigation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. I think I have shared notes from yesterday's session. That is Jerry and Millicent and anyone else who's interested. Again, the session is open to any questions that you may have, any feedback that you may have. Please feel free to unmute yourself and speak, or just type it in the chat. As people are preparing the questions, a reminder, tomorrow's session, I intend for it to be fully practical. There'll be no notes. This is fully hands-on. So if you are able to just follow along, it will be perfect. If you're not able to perform the attack as I will be doing it, please feel free to just come with your notes up and just take notes, take a screen recording, so that you're able to follow along. I believe the screen shall be shared later on. Hope you hand is raised. Go on.
So I had a question yesterday, so I think I can ask right now. So most of the time when you're logging in somewhere, maybe a sign up page ama hivyo, there are always other options like GitHub, Gmail, hizo zote. So are they safe for us? Ama if maybe account ya Gmail is compromised, would it also affect the other place I'm trying to access if I use the same credential? I don't know, but yeah, that's my question.
So I think you've asked a question and you've partially answered it. If your Gmail is already compromised, then the other place you're trying to log into is already compromised because now you've shared credentials. You're logging in via Gmail to maybe Capabuil.com. So the credentials that you use for Capabuil or whatever is stored under Capabuil site is now visible to the attacker if your Gmail is compromised. But if it is not compromised, I am yet to hear of an attack of those SSO sign-ons, single sign-ons. Maybe I need to do some research, but I'm yet to see an attack under that vector. So I don't think you have any need for worry, but just stay in the on the lookout to see if there are any such attack vectors happening. I am seeing someone asking for the notes. I will kindly request you to give me time so that once everyone has asked their questions, I will post the notes here towards the end of the chat without any interruption from the chat. Seeing Emmanuel ask, as a cybersecurity expert, how did you start your own company? Because I understand in Kenya, we haven't embraced roles like pen testing. We only wait for incident response. That's a very good question, Emmanuel. I was also privy to the fact that companies are actually embracing pen testing and audits. But ideally, with the new Data Protection Act that we are now having in the country, companies are actually, I think it is 5 years. Simon, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but every 5 years you need to have a new auditor come on board and perform audits for you as a company. Is that correct, Simon?
Yes.
Yeah, so every 5 years you need to have a change of auditors for your company to just keep the audits relevant and up to date. So companies are actually embracing cybersecurity, albeit at a slow pace, a pace that we might not be welcoming to as security experts because people are yet to see the real impact. Remember, as a country, we do not have so many digital platforms that are digitalized. If you compare us to the US, where I can pay for my bus ride online, I can book hospital appointments in advance, so on and so forth. But we are headed to a point in time where everything of us will be digitalized. Think of the Maisha number that we tried to implement but did not work out. That is one avenue that can actually open up so many business for security experts like you and me. So I hope that answers you. Any other question? If your Gmail was attacked and you change the password, is it still vulnerable? Of course not, Collins. It's like changing the locks on your door. If they break the first lock and you change the locks, how are they going to be able to do that again? Unless you use a very weak password the second time around, then that is another case. Again, if your Gmail was attacked via maybe something like a Trojan, maybe you sent for a document and you opened it and it downloaded itself onto your machine, then you can be attacked. Okay, because why? The Trojan is installed on your machine and is monitoring everything you're doing. So even the new password that you're changing will be visible to the attackers. I hope that answers you, Collins. Daniel Kamau, what softwares do we need to have for tomorrow's session? The attack that I'll be performing will be from a Kali machine. My host OS is a Kali machine. So if you can just have VirtualBox with Kali Linux in it, you're good to go. You don't even need to change your host OS. That's all you need. And of course, stable internet. I hope my internet behaves tomorrow, then you'll be able to do the attack. Are currently security measures becoming cumbersome, thus low adoption by businesses? They're not becoming cumbersome. Ideally, it is people who are yet to open up to the idea. So I'll give you an example. If at the moment, or rather, how many, those of you who were there during the Mishuki laws era, it was mandatory for everyone to have a seatbelt in a public transport. So people were slow to adapt, but then it came to a point where they were being hit with fines. They were like, okay, we need to adapt. So now the measures are not cumbersome. It is people who are slow to adapt. And it is sad to see that, because now people only react to a scenario. They don't, anticipate and prevent. They react to it, which is wrong. Always be proactive, not reactive. So, I'm seeing Blessing Hamisi saying the number one ranked hacker in Hack the Box is an AI, by the way. Blessing, are you able to provide context into that or any proof? As someone new to the cybersecurity field, how do you embrace AI in terms of your learning? This is from Belinda. What can you learn now in security with AI in place so that you can adapt to the changes? Belinda, this is a good question. Now with AI, what you're looking at when you're learning, it only simplifies your research. I think Simon will also tell you, back in the day before AI, you had to go through pages and pages and pages of Stack Overflow forums to get what you wanted, thus improving your research. AI has made it simpler, but I will not advise you as a beginner to fully embrace it. Build on your research skills. How good are your Google Docking skills? Are you able to find, files that you want to find? Are you able to, go through Stack Overflow and find the right solution for your problem? Google 1, 2, 3, read articles, so on and so forth. By the time you get to an expert level, where maybe 5, 6 years in the industry, your research skills have come to top level. AI then will be perfect for you. I'm not saying it is only for experts, but try and have AI as an afterthought, not as your primary source of help. I hope that answers you. Any other question?
We are not seeing any hands up. At least I think we have provided enough grace period for questions and answers to just wrap up the discussion on day 2. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would once again want to appreciate your commitment and dedication to these sessions. Of course, again, having 150 people in attendance throughout this virtual session, we are confident that we have learned a lot. For those still asking for the certificates, we cannot give certificates today because sessions are yet to complete. Remember, this is a 3-day session. Today is the 2nd day. Certificates will be produced and consolidated to cater for all the 3 days. So, of course, again, depending on your attendance, I think the Zoom platform is also taking note of your attendance, your log time, your logging in time and log out. And of course, if you'll be able to attend quite a good amount of period throughout the 3 days, I think you qualify for a certificate. So I'm still pushing also with ICT Authority to fast track on the same, so that anyone who has attended these sessions can get a copy of a certificate that proves that they attended this awareness training. So thank you once again. Let's catch up tomorrow. And in case you have anything besides the cybersecurity sessions, or you have any other general concern, feel free to reach out at Capabuil at our inboxes. We'll be able to take care of you. Also, another last reminder, I know we have experts here like Nigel. If you know, you can also partner with Nigel and Capabuil in matters corporate training and helping professionals understand this domain of cybersecurity and IT. Feel free to write an email to us. Then we can look at your portfolio, what you can do, and then of course we can be able to line up similar programs in the future. It might be a physical training. You can come deliver on a physical workshop in a hotel where we have people in the room coming to learn more about these things, or even virtual seminars like this. Yeah, so feel free to also email us and seek for such opportunities. We are ready to listen and see how we can map you around it. Thank you once again. On behalf of ICT Authority and Capabuil, I want to wish all of us a lovely evening. Those in a different time zone, maybe your day has just started, I want to wish you a very successful day. Cheers, and let's meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.